What's up, Zach? It's me, Zach. I'm gonna try to keep this video short. I hope you watch it sometime, even if you're just, taking a shit and decide to watch something different than Instagram or YouTube or whatever. I'll start with something that somebody said smarter than me. He said, this is Alan Watts speaking, maybe you're familiar. He said, if you're a Jew, well, you can't also be a Christian because the Jews don't believe the Messiah has come. Sorry, I'm trying to plug in my phone here. I apologize for the shitty camera work. He said, if you're a Jew, you can't also be a Christian because you don't believe the Messiah has come. But if you're a Christian, you can definitely be a Jew because, well, half your teachings are from the Torah, the Jewish book, and, Jesus Christ himself identified as a Jew when he came down here. So, well, that checks out. And then he goes, but if you're a Christian, you can't also be a Hindu because, well, Hindus believe that everybody's God manifested and on their own trajectory. And Christians think only Jesus was. Only Jesus was God incarnate. Well, but if you're a Hindu, you can also be a Christian. You can also be a Jew. You can also be a Celtic wizard of Aborigine descent. Hinduism is the one religion that allows them all to be true. And I don't mean in a funny little, bulletin board on in their back coffee room. And they're like, we should forgive all faiths and let everyone do everything. It's like, no, theologically speaking, like what they actually believe, that mankind are gods with amnesia is essentially their cosmology. That allows every other subsequent religion to also be true. It's a logical thing more so than dogmatic. And why do I lean Hinduism when their big claim is that we're all gods with amnesia, or humans are rather? Because it actually makes sense. If we take the universal definition of the word God, I don't mean South African pygmies versus Scientologists versus Baptists, just the universal definition, Webster's God, not Bible God. And we said something like, the maker of reality and the maker of life. Or the builder of the Nintendo and the life spark that's in Mario on the inside. Hold on, pup. If that's the universal definition of God, maker of reality, maker of life, well, that kind of actually makes sense. That's what everyone believes. The Aztecs thought it was a snake. The Chinese thought it was a panda. Fair enough, because, well, the Chinese had more pandas. But when I think about it, it's like, well, hold on. When we go to sleep at night, they tell us that dreams are, our own private world. So on a real level, if you live to be 90, you're going to sleep for 30 years and dream a lot, actually. So we make worlds so real that we can't tell that we're dreaming without extensive, Inception, Leonardo DiCaprio, or Tibetan dream yoga, which is essentially lucid dreaming, just the Tibetan version, right? And then when we're awake here on Earth and we're alive, we make children and we make life through sex and procreation. So on a very literal level, man's consciousness builds worlds and makes life. And suddenly, the Hindu cosmology of that you're a god in training, so to speak, lack of a better term, that actually makes logical sense, by definition, not subjective, you're going to burn in fire if you wear orange on a Thursday. It's like, y'all are kind of tripping, but, it's whatever. Everybody gets there. Could just be one path, 100 guides. I don't subscribe to one super dogmatic religion for the simple reason that that's a silly God. That's like a father who has 100 sons and he sends one letter to one son, Matthew, okay? And then the letter evaporates in 3 days, like Jesus' 3 years of ministry. And then that father's expecting that son to convince all of their brothers, all of his brothers, that our invisible dead dad was talking to us and this is what we need to do. And by the way, what we need to do is going to go against all of our carnal impulses. I don't think one kid could convince 100 people of something to believe in. So God, the inventor of the color purple and the carrot's design, is going to send one messenger? Ooh, tall ask. That's a tall ask, bro. But since IQ is a thing, even people on the lower spectrum of the IQ, they deserve God. Everyone deserves God. So sometimes Christians, if they haven't thought about it too often, they get kind of stuck in their cycle, but it's okay because the Bible stories are actually profound and beneficial. So I don't hate either one, but the idea is that Hinduism allows all other religions to be true, and that by definition you're a god because you build dreams at night and you make life while you're awake. Fair enough. If you don't think dreams are valid, you also designed this reality. You picked your wife, you picked to move to Tennessee, you chose what shoes to wear today, you decided what to watch on Netflix, you decided what sunglasses to buy, right here, you decided to talk to me, you decided to respond to the Craigslist, you decided to watch this video, you picked your wallpaper in your kitchen. Besides a few externalities of, you know, a little bit of loss of control, you designed this life for yourself. You picked iPhone or Samsung. You picked Hulu or Netflix. You picked spaghetti or rigatoni at the Italian restaurant. You designed this one like a god. Interesting. I only share things in the book that I'm writing if they're universal and they're objective. I don't deal with the subjective anymore. I really don't care what God people like, as long as you don't think the world's an accident, because that's absurd. That is patently absurd and probably a reactionary theory because they don't want to be subservient to anything. And they'll tell us that we invented God because of our fear of the unknown. Well, if we're just gears and cogs in a wheel, why do we have a fear of the unknown? Because last time I checked, Rolexes aren't afraid to fall off your kitchen counter in the same way that you would be afraid if your baby fell off the kitchen counter while you were getting applesauce or some shit. Gears and cogs in a wheel. Take an iPhone, which is literally gears and cogs in a wheel, right? And take it to the top of your apartment building with a baby. You got to throw one off. No one throws off the baby because they know it's not gears and cogs in a wheel when you compare it to something that literally is gears and cogs in a wheel, like an iPhone or a MacBook. Never mind me, man. I hope you got a grain of truth from this. I'm just in Sage training and I'm still like a decade away. So I just, I practice and I focus group and I test the jokes and I test the rationale and make sure that it's not me just loosey-goose tripping. But that's why I tend to work with definitions, pragmatism, logic, and kind of an all-encompassing, okay, if every religion and all of mankind has told us somebody made this place for 15,000 years, it's kind of silly to be an atheist because it's arrogance. Everybody in history was a pagan that couldn't predict the weather? Really? That's what we're going to say? Really? What's up, bruh? All from Craigslist. Go fucking figure. You're a god by definition. Which is what Jesus was actually trying to say in John 10:32. We never talk about what he was actually doing here. We always talk about him dying for you. Or, you know, let's get mad and make everyone, no one gets to the Father but through me. God damn, if you take that one line out, the whole religion falls. I'm not saying take it out. I'm just saying Christians tend to latch on to certain things quite quickly, when all religions are essentially saying the same thing. You're a god, be nicer, and evolution is happening. Just get a little better each day, right? 9 minutes. Maybe that's too long.